This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about the main event here. And I want to ask, why do you think this was a three-way? We're talking about Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit. I got the feeling that maybe for whatever reason, Vince wasn't sold on the fact that it just being Benoit versus Triple H was box office. He wanted more star power in there with Shawn Michaels. Would I be wrong?
No, you're right. And we wanted to pass the torch in the most grandiose way that we could. And to sell pay-per-views, you get that one angle. You needed something special, something hot. They're closing the show at WrestleMania, for God's sakes. So adding Shawn to that mix gave it a lot more star power. And everybody knew Shawn wanted to be the champion again. And we all had a great story going in there with Shawn and his former best buddy, Triple H. So all those things, that all tied together. But I think Vince believed that just the fact that Benoit hadn't got completely over, we had confidence he's going to do really good. He's going to become an underdog champion, undersized champion who had no idea how big or small he was, but we had to get there. And so what you had two guys giving Benoit the rub, two guys that were obviously considered as major stars globally in the pro wrestling business. So I think that was I think you're right on the money there. That it just strengthened the card. It made the card more attractive. It became a bigger attraction with those three stars in it. And the beneficiary was going to be Benoit.
Well, here we are. It's quite a match. It's 24 minutes and 47 seconds. Meltzer says all the special stuff like blood and tables were protected for the guys on last. What was impressive is that they worked a fast pace even from the start, even though they were going long. The crowd was super into Benoit and booed both the other two. It was your hardcore fans that came from all over the world that live and breathe it. So they're going to be more into Benoit than casual fans that you would draw in every city. And that's why they got a huge reaction, but that may not have been as indicative when he was at the Guerrero level. This is all from the Observer. Michaels did a moonsault off the top rope to both on the floor. Benoit was a machine. Benoit had Triple H in the crossface, but Michaels saved. Lots of false finishes here. As we mentioned, there's tables, there's blood, a lot of blood, in fact. And the pedigree is what everybody's waiting for. And Benoit counters it into a crossface, and Triple H is in the move forever with Benoit screaming tap. The fans are screaming tap. And finally he taps 4 3/4 stars. This is probably, I shouldn't say probably, this is the biggest moment in Chris Benoit's career.
Yeah.
And the confetti coming from the ceiling reminded us of that. Eddie Guerrero hits the ring with Benoit. They both break down in tears. And Meltzer would write, the former maligned vanilla midgets that the stars of WCW spent years saying could never headline because people don't notice them in the airport were suddenly the two major champions in United States pro wrestling on one of the biggest shows in history. Between the wrestling, the atmosphere, and the announcing, this was a fantastic ending to a show.
Oh, cool. The announcing got a mention. Wow. Well, it's nice to hear that every now and then. I told somebody that one time, I said, we're doing the best we can, but maybe it's better just to put your goddamn match on mute. No. But yeah, it's nice to be recognized. I'm a human being. Everybody's, you want to be recognized in that regard. So, everybody made a big deal. I congratulate Excalibur for winning this Wrestling Observer Announcer of the Year. Very well deserved. And he's a great guy to work with, smartest guy in the room. But I'm going to kid him about the fact that, when you win 13 more, you'll be tied with me.
My goodness.
Well, it's just, we're having fun here, and that's all it is. But Excalibur has done a great job and does real well for us. And I'm glad I've been able to help him, give him a little bit of room to build his body of work. And he's very talented, very smart, but it's good to hear the announcing been mentioned in a positive light, as opposed to, did you hear JR say WWE on AEW? I bet he gets fired. He's old. They shoot horses, don't they? Sometimes I feel like Ole JR. in the smokehouse. Let's put him out of his misery. I ain't ready. I ain't miserable. I'm good.
Right.
But Eddie, here's the thing, a little nuance. Go back and watch you would be well served, any fan that hasn't seen this match from the start to finish, to go back and check it out. You'll love it. If you're still a fan of old school, fundamentally sound, adding a pinch of aerial chances and things of that nature into your match, then you should go back and see it. But also see that I think there was a nice little pregnant pause after Benoit won the title and the confetti rained down. You saw the emotion in the crowd, real, true emotion. One of those opportunities where no matter how good our announcer is, there's really not words to describe what you're feeling and seeing. So you let that soak in. You let everybody feel what they're going to feel regarding that. And then there was then's where Chris and Eddie they got together in the ring and did their hug. Took us to another place emotionally. So I just thought those guys, all of them, it showed also Triple H and Shawn being very unselfish, which some people may roll their eyes. Well, these two guys are never unselfish. Oh yeah, they were. They were unselfish on that night because they gave a double rub to Benoit. And so I liked the whole thing. I liked the fact that Eddie gave Chris's moment and the spotlight in post-match before he entered the equation. And that was one of the most emotional things I've ever seen in pro wrestling. It was so real, Conrad. And they were crying real tears.
Yeah.
You know, you do this, and then you do that, then I'll do this. I'll slap my leg, then I'll slap my face, and I'll slap everything. And then let's cry. Can you cry on a key? Oh, yeah, I'll cry. None of that shit went on. No, not even the leg slapping.
Pretty famous moment here. Let's talk about the mood backstage. We've often heard that when guys come back through the curtain in the gorilla position after a big match like this, it's a sellout at the curtain, and all the boys are giving them a standing ovation. Vince gives them hugs. I assume that's the case here, right? I'm
assuming so. I was still out yonder with the announced position when they all came through the curtain. But I know it was celebratory as hell when Lawler and I finally got to the back. There were a lot of tears, not just from Eddie and Chris. I mean, a lot of tears from a lot of other guys. They were legitimately emotional and were so, I think, maybe thankful that they saw two of their peers have the career nights in the world's most famous arena at the world's most famous wrestling event. And they were just glad that they were there to witness it. That's the brotherhood sometimes is overlooked in our business, unfortunately, and it shouldn't be. But yeah, everybody was happy. It was a very jovial time. I know I can recall that the post WrestleMania party, which started out as a very closed affair, which has grown to be, if you're somebody's cousin or mailman, you seem to get in. It was very festive. Everybody was happy, Conrad. Look at what we just accomplished. Look at what we had done. Sold out. WrestleMania, big time. Great matches. And we closed, and the matches that needed to deliver did deliver. So even though the card was probably, and not unlike a lot of cards, kind of overbooked. Too many bodies on it. But I love that the party was festive. The food was great. I'll bring everything back to what you and I love, food. And an open bar and all that good stuff. So it's pretty cool. So I'm privileged to be a part of that day. It really means something to me to this very day, all these years later.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.